What's up, guys? Quick update. I'm over here at this kind of ugly lake, but this is Hensley, place I used to fish all the time with my grandpa when I grew up. Um, yeah, things are kind of the same. Just kind of posting an update. I'm still walking around, but I'll tell you what, it feels like it's getting harder. Now, granted, I gained a bunch of weight, thinking that for some reason that's a good sign. So I ended up gaining like 60 pounds in about 8 months. So I'm not too proud of that. So maybe that's, partially why it's hard. I'm wearing jeans and haven't been out doing really anything physical for a while now because I was so afraid that the twitches were going to get worse. But they've been pretty stable today. I had pretty bad anxiety last night. I had the jerks real bad. Kept waking myself up. Little hypnic jerks. Twitching just all over the place. Waking up, sweating. Had to pee 3 times last night. No good, nothing good with any of those symptoms. But I'm trying to make the most of it. I'm out here, my daughter's fishing. And my two other girls are catching fish with my wife and her sister and her family. So trying to just savor this moment. But yeah, I had to take a little bit of meds today because of my anxiety. So I ended up taking some gabapentin and one of the really low dose Xanax, the 0.25 milligram, because I just wasn't doing too well. Woke up and was crying real bad because of how rough of a night that I had. And so I took 300 milligrams of gabapentin and one 0.25 milligram of Xanax just to kind of cool things off. So I thought I was having some pretty good relief with the CBD pen with a little bit of THC, but I don't know. I always wonder how much of the relief that I get is just positive thinking. You just never really know. You can never really tell with this whole damn thing. You got good days and bad days. So as you can tell, my voice is a little hoarse. I don't know if that's related, but I think it's, the weather's kind of hot out here. It's real dry. A lot of people are having hoarse throats, my wife and my dad. So I'm hoping that that's not too bad of a thing. I got my spirometry test done. I had 105% lung capacity, and apparently it's between 70% and 120%. And I was standing up, obviously, not sitting down or anything. So, so that's okay. I guess that's okay. That's a good thing. That's not lower than that. I was thinking it was gonna be low. And it didn't change too much when they gave me the albuterol. So I guess that just means that, that I don't have asthma. My feelings of being out of breath aren't asthma. So it's probably a combination of being out of shape and whatever else is going on with me. But I was able to hold my daughter and kind of walk around on the rocks. It's hard though. The balance seems like it's kind of shitty. You just feel off balance all the time. But yeah, that's kind of the update. Here's it's kind of a muddy, kind of a muddy pond now. But this is the lake out here. Catching a little perch and bluegill and a couple little smallmouth bass. But yeah, this was one of the places I grew up around. So it was hard for me to get out of the house and to kind of come up here and do this. But I just did it because I was like, I'm not going to miss these opportunities anymore. Whatever's going on with me, it's not worth staying inside and dying in my house. I got to get out and kind of make the most of my life and get up and climb on these rocks and stuff like that while I still got legs to do it. So I'm hoping for a benign diagnosis. I still got more tests to go through. I'm going to go to a neuro-ophthalmologist to check out my weird vision issues, my pattern glare, and my flickering vision in the dark. See what he thinks of that. That's pretty concerning. And my anisocoria, my unequal pupil size. So it was funny. Speaking of that, my wife, I was asking her about visual field stuff, and there's the little bobbers that are out there for the fishing lines. And I was asking her how, if you look at that rock away from it, does that bobber disappear? And she's like, no, I can still see it. And I was like, fuck, man, my vision must be getting really bad then. But it's funny, she actually thought I was talking about a buoy out in the water instead of the bobber. So she was all like, how can you not see that? I was like, holy shit, how can you see that? But it seems like that's a little bit of a mix up. So it seems like her vision's about the same for me about where the bobber's at and stuff. So that's a good sign. So we got certain things that are okay, certain things that are not so good. I've been twitching all day, obviously. That never changes. Sitting there, under the canopy and under the canopy and stuff, legs twitching. I got some finger twitches while I was there. Little toes twitches. I keep getting this weird feeling that I think my tongue's twitching. I've never caught it since that one time that I saw it a long time ago at rest. Over on the back left side of my tongue, but I keep feeling like it's twitching when it's on the roof of my mouth, like just these kind of little quick fire, like single off twitches. And it's scary because that's a video that I seen of somebody who had motor neuron disease, who had ALS. That was how their tongue presented. But I haven't had any issues talking or anything like that as far as articulation with my tongue or anything. So, but I keep feeling like I'm feeling the flickering. But every time I look at where I feel that's going on, I try to look in the mirror when it's at rest. I never see it. So I don't know, that could just be some weird other sensation that I'm misjudging. But so to recap, symptoms are constant, 100% constant. Like, I hear people on the BFS forums and shit like that, they're like, oh, I twitch like 50 times a day. I'm like, dude, I twitch like every minute, every minute on the minute, sometimes more frequently in between minutes, all day, all night, all over my body, toes to fingers, to scalp, to eyes, to my lips, and my tongue. So twitching all over the place. But I'm still walking. I'm about 8 months into this, almost 9 months now. So because it started right about the 1st of February ish. So about 9 months in, and I'm walking around and I'm talking. So we just got to kind of keep going, keep pushing forward, and see how it goes. So we got to do the neuro-ophthalmologist. We got to push for, and I'm going to push for a neuromuscular specialist, because I haven't done that. I've been going to just neurologists. So I'm going to push for a neuromuscular specialist. And then we'll see where we go from there. But I'll tell you what, if there's anything that I definitely feel like helps me is that gabapentin. But apparently that thing's a dangerous drug to be on. Withdrawals are crazy. And so is with the Xanax too. They're kind of the same thing. And so when I combine them, I get like really solid relief. But you're dependent on this drug that you probably shouldn't be on. I would like to switch it to an extended release Valium, so that so I don't have to keep redosing or anything like that. And it just gives me a long lasting relief. And it has less proneness to addiction because it doesn't shoot your GABA up as quickly, So yeah, that's kind of the update. But I hiked up here, hiked up on these rocks, climbing around, fat as hell. So funny that my earlier videos I definitely wasn't this big, but I worry. I'm getting what I would term frequent urination, and I was having some really serious stomach upsets, like constant bloating and gas. And then I get the night sweats like crazy, like all the time. Plus the twitching, and the jerks came back last night. And that was not fun. I haven't had those in a long time. But yeah, that's pretty much the update. So yeah, like loved ones. Tell everybody that you care about, that you love them, and just never let them go. Keep them close. And just try not to make too many enemies, man, because you get down to the wire like we are, like people like us, where we're kind of looking down the barrel of a gun with the potential of living or dying. And you regret so many of the bad times. I promise you do. You regret the bad things you said to people. You regret the hearts you broke. You regret the bad things you said to your parents, and you just want to make amends. That's all you want to do, is you just want to be on a good even keel with everybody. And I leave, like my really good friend that I'm developing through this whole thing, this whole saga, he said, you want to leave a legacy of kindness. And that's really where I feel. I walked around with a lot of hate in my heart for a really long time. I carried it around like a weapon, and I just bludgeoned people over the head with it all the time. And now I regret those times. I regret those feelings. I regret wasting my time being angry. Wasting my time being angry online, especially. Like, what a waste of my time. You know, I should have been up in the hills. I should have been up here. I should have been, even though this ain't nothing to really shake a stick at. It's not that great of a place, but at least I would be here and not freaking in my room drinking or, you know, doing other terrible things that I don't like to mention because of my shame. You know, I wish I was out here just fishing or hiking or something like that, something healthy. You know, develop healthy hobbies. That's a big thing that I keep trying to emphasize. It's like I should have just developed healthier hobbies. I just got sidetracked and I fell in with the wrong crowd basically, and let myself just kind of be steered down a path of abuse, self-abuse, self-mutilation. But yeah, I don't really foresee this being benign though. I'm still walking around about 8 or 9 months in, but the frequency of the twitch is just too much, and the weird pattern glare in the vision and stuff like that, just too much. And I feel like the stiffness in my legs, you know, it's just too wobbliness, you know, shakiness in my hands. It's too much to just be something benign that I'm going to make it through. But some people keep telling me that they're so much worse than I am, but maybe it's just because I'm a really slow progressor. I don't know. If that's the case, and this really isn't ALS, it's just something that's basically the same. But everybody says twitching without any type of weird anything else is just, that's it. I don't know why I've got such frequent fasciculations, you know, such frequency, never resting, never stopping. You know, to stop when I'm standing here, I don't really get them, you know, but as soon as I sit down, it's just like pop, 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 all over the place. Popcorn, you know. So, yeah. So anyways, yeah, just try to live a life filled with like kindness and love, and don't waste your time on the negativity, guys. It's just not worth your time. It just really, really isn't. Go out and find places of beauty, travel, you know, and really just love on your family and love on your kids. And if you don't got any of that, love on yourself, man. Love yourself, really, truly, because long time, same thing. I didn't love myself whatsoever. You know, I sat there and just hated everything that I was, hated how I looked, hated how I acted. And, you know, for some good reason, I had to change some things, but you just waste a lot of time doing a lot of stuff. That's my main point. We as humans are great time wasters. And when you're looking down the barrel of a terminal disease, you really realize how much time you've wasted just sitting in front of a computer screen playing video games or something like that. You're like, fuck, I thought I had a 65-year-old or 65-year life, or 80. Everyone thinks they're gonna live to 100, right? You know, that's like the number. And it's like, dude, you're lucky if you live to 60. A lot of people, you know, and especially a healthy way, right? Or you're not somehow disabled or in constant pain or addicted to medication or something like that. So, but yeah, so a neuro-ophthalmologist, neuromuscular specialist is next, and we'll see what happens. But I love you guys. Thanks for following me through this whole thing. And anybody else who's suffering more than me, because I know there are people who are suffering more than me, who would look at like what I'm talking about right now and be like, that's not even that bad. This man doesn't have ALS, he's just got weird twitching for some reason that I don't know, and maybe he's exaggerating the twitching, but I'm not, trust me. It's all the time, 24/7, all the time. But I know there's people who have it harder already. It's harder to walk, or they're losing strength in their hands, or they can't keep themselves up straight, or they're falling over, or they're already in a wheelchair. For those of you, I'm really sorry. And if I could do anything to try to take that pain away and to try to help you and to try to empathize and sympathize with your struggles, I would do it. Because I'll tell you what, the mental anguish alone, the fear of the unknown, the fear of death and stuff like that is enough for me to just cry out for help. Cry out to my family, cry out to my, you know, anybody who's listening, God and whoever, you know. And I hope in this life, you know, I hope I can get some sign while this whole thing's going on that there is a God and God's here with me. I had really strong faith, and that's kind of come into question lately. And I hate that. I wish that I didn't have those questions, but I hope that the universe is more grand than what I am comprehending, you know. And I hope that there's a good and loving God, and I hope that there's a beauty on the other side of this thing, and it's not just like some dreamless sleep that just wipes you out and zeroes you out to nothing. Because God, that's horrifying. Ceasing to be who you are, all your memories, all the experiences you've accumulated and stuff like that, and to think about it being every human being who's ever lived. Every human being that's ever lived, all their experiences and everything just snuffed out, nothing. Dying horribly, just a river of tears, just a waterfall of tears and death all the time. And I really hope that there's some purpose in all this, because I want there to be so badly. Because how will I look my daughter in the eye and tell her that that you keep on going, baby girl, you keep going, if this is the risk that you run when you live this life? How do I tell her to keep her head up and keep going forward, in the face of, hey, you might develop the terminal illness that your dad has, because maybe it's a genetic thing now and I pass it to her and she gets ALS, if that's what this is. I don't know. My opinion is that it's not genetic. It's me just damaging my body enough. I did not a ton of drugs, but I did a little bit of drugs, and I drank a lot, and I just ate a diet that I thought was healthy, and I basically poisoned myself, and I had no idea. So I just got unlucky. Hopefully, I don't want there to be any weird genetic mutation that I passed down to my daughter, but I'm terrified as hell of that. What if my daughter gets unlucky? How do you tell the people that you love to keep their head up when there's things like this out there in the world? There's things like potential ALS out there in this freaking world. You get blue-green algae, you get the BMAA toxin in your brain, you develop Parkinson's or Alzheimer's early. How it's like there's a Christian monk, I believe, a Catholic monk, who he saw he was studying nature, and he's writing documents, all kinds of journals, and studying all kinds of animals and stuff like that to see God's beauty in the world. And he came across those predatory wasps, those ones that lay the eggs in the spiders, and they hatch and eat the spider alive from inside out. And he lost his faith because of it, because of how horrific. He's like, how could God be good and there's something like that exists? That's crazy. And that's my big struggle now. And I know the problem of evil is a thing that's been debated for 1,000, 2,000 years, since monotheism came into the forefront, or came into fruition, I guess. But yeah, problem evil is probably an old question, but I feel the weight of it right now, brothers and sisters. I feel it for sure. How can something like ALS exist if there's a God out there that loves us? How can something so awful take us away from our families? It's hard to comprehend, and maybe that's just selfishness, I don't know. But anyways, I love you guys. I'm gonna hike around a little bit more, just kind of walk around while I still got these legs. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's hope for benign, guys. Let's just really fucking hope for it. I'll send me all your prayers and your good energy and everything like that. Let's just fucking hope, okay? And you guys be good. You guys take care of yourselves. I love you all.